things like this are so easy to accomplish. A great way to connect with your kids with very little effort, but a lot of meaning. At the end of the day, our kids don't just need our money or our gifts, no matter how hard we work for it. What they really need is us. You know, when I first thought of making this video, I was sitting in my kitchen just after midnight, and I was decorating cupcakes for my son's school bake sale when the thought hit me, man, life just doesn't slow down. No matter how busy we get, the responsibilities seem to just keep piling up. But as parents, we still have to find a way to show up. That's why I want to make this video, because I know that I'm not the only parent trying to juggle a million things while still trying to make time for their kids. Today I wanted to share 3 ways that I somehow still find ways to make time for my kids, even when life feels overwhelming. Because, let's be real, there's always going to be something on the to-do list. But at the end of the day, our kids don't just need our money or our gifts, no matter how hard we work for it. What they really need is us. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say that I know that this is going to appeal more to the parents out there. So if this is something that you're just not interested in, then that's totally fine. But if you want to check out something different, then go ahead and click on the link that just popped up. Then you can see my video about where was God during the upside down plane crash that happened a few weeks ago. That was a powerful story that I'm sure you don't want to miss. All right, now let's get back to the topic, because I know that a lot of parents, including myself, feel like there just isn't enough time, and I don't want to waste any of yours. To me, the truth is that it's the small moments in the chaos that matter the most. So my first point is that you need to learn how to prioritize presence over perfection. So I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. Now, I mentioned the bake sale. I know, because I've been to these before, that there are a lot of parents who they have a lot of skills. Baking is not one of mine. And other parents go all out in making some of the best desserts, the best things that they can to participate into this bake sale. My son, he just wanted me to make some cupcakes this time, some Oreo cupcakes to be exact. And I opted to have him be involved in it with me because it's his bake sale, of course. And we ended up getting a Betty Crocker Oreo cake mix. Now, again, I know it's not fancy, but it did the job. It got us to spend time together, and it got us to accomplish what he set out to do. We made 24 cupcakes. It was late into the night, so the next day before school, I ended up having to finish some of them for him. I was decorating them. I'm not the best at decorating, but I think they turned out okay. And then I packaged them so that he can bring them to school the next day. I say all this to bring a point that they weren't perfect. But I was present, and it was something that we did together. And that's where I think, or at least I hope, it will matter most to him. God doesn't ask us to be perfect parents, just present ones. I found that even if we can spend 10 to 15 minutes of focused time rather than half-hearted distracted time, talking to them while I'm still scrolling on my phone, they appreciate it and they really notice it that much more. A lot of parents think that they need huge chunks of time or need to plan big events for things to really matter to their kids, when I think we do that in hopes to make bigger memories, but that's not really what our kids need. What they need is just that time with us, and the memories will follow. One way that we can show up for our kids is something as simple as turning off the radio on the drive to school and just having a simple discussion with them. If you are going to be working late, maybe send a quick text message, something encouraging, something that says how you miss them, something that just lets them know that you're thinking about them. For my family, we like to do something that we call peek and pit. And what that is that before we go to bed, we talk about our peak and our pit of the day. What was the highlight, our peak? And what was the pit? What was something that really didn't go the way that we thought it would? If we get no pits, then wonderful. But honestly, I find it's when we get the pits that we can connect the most, because then we're talking about something that really didn't go our way and how we can turn it around or ways to approach it the next time it happens. That is a great way to connect with your kids. Another thing that we do is we give our kids what we call a snuggle. People can call it a cuddle or whatever you want, but in any case, it's personal time that we give to each of our kids. And we spend that time preferably maybe talking or playing a card game like Uno. Sometimes we spend it reading a book that we're reading together. My son and I were reading The Wild Robot, and we enjoyed that together, reading the entire book before we watched the movie together. That was a great experience, and he was so appreciative of it. My other son were reading The City of Ember, and that is something that there's so much detail in it, but we're really enjoying the story together. Things like this are so easy to accomplish. A great way to connect with your kids with very little effort, but a lot of meaning. And I guess a third point would be that I've learned to set more boundaries and say no to certain things. Reality is that sometimes the real reason that we're busy or we're feeling overwhelmed is because we're saying yes to too much work. We're becoming people pleasers, or we just think that there's something that we have to do when in reality, it's not. Now I'm talking about extra work, extra projects. Are they really something that has to be done right now, or can it take a little bit longer? Even things like scrolling on social media, that definitely doesn't have to be done right now. I think we really need to ask ourselves, are we too busy, or are we just too distracted? One way that I like to set a boundary is when I come home from work, that time becomes time to spend with my kids. My wife is a teacher, and I feel like we partner really well in the morning with getting the kids ready for school and when it comes to hair and breakfast and such. And then after school, because I work downtown, it takes me a bit longer to get home. And I really only have a little bit of time with my wife and the kids before it's time for bed. So in that amount of time, I try to set it so that it has nothing to do with work. It's a period of 3, maybe sometimes even as little as 2 hours that I get to spend with them. So it's important to me that that is for them. Once they're in bed, then I can resume whatever work or whatever projects that I want to work on. That includes making videos for YouTube or Instagram. I read somewhere that Jesus was busy, but he always made time for people. If Jesus could pause for the loved ones that he had, then I think we could do the same. Okay, so to recap, the 3 points were be present, find those small moments, and set firm boundaries. And I think another thing that's important is that you ask yourself, what's one small way that you can show up for your kids this week? Drop it below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Being busy is a part of life. I think everyone can agree with that. But being too busy for our kids, that's a choice. So right here and right now, let's make that choice to show up. Just in case you were wondering about that bake sale, it actually turned out pretty great, and the cupcakes sold pretty much right away. The kids made lots of money, and they're well on their way to their fundraiser. This is Kingdom Chronicles. Thanks for watching. If you like our content, please subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'd love to see you back. Catch you in the next one.